Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Relationship Rehab, where we are making black love cool again. Listen, before we get started, this is what I need you to do. I need you to first and foremost make sure tonight you like, you comment, and most of all, you share. Secondly, what I need you to do, because we're going to give you to the end of the summer for this, right? We're going to end up transferring most of our full episodes over to YouTube. So do me a favor and go to our YouTube page. It's Relationship Rehab as well. And make sure you push that subscribe button so that you can catch us when we go live, because we'll start going live from there. What you'll be able to get on Facebook, where we are now, is just little clips of what we've been doing. All right? That's going to start in August. So make sure you make that switch. Make sure tonight you comment with us. Make sure that you like. And make sure you share. Also, tonight, while we're talking, if you want to join in, we do have a call-in number. Mike, can you put that number up real quick for us? We have a call-in number. We'll let you call in and comment with us tonight if you'd like to. So we can start doing that. You can kind of start interacting with us, not just via the comments, but also if you have something that you would like to share, we'd love to hear your opinion. So we'll put that number up a little later. We're going to go ahead and get started. For time's sake tonight, how's everybody doing this evening? It's officially summer.
Yes.
For you, boy. I'm enjoying my first day off. That's why you see me a little casual tonight. You know, normally
This casual is like all the way up here.
no.
But
Now I had it unbuttoned and showing the taco meat,
I
but
said, show the ladies your little taco meat, get your little date or something. He was like,
I decided to be a little professional and just make sure I button it up. So tonight, what we're going to be talking about, as you can see, is just me and Chanel. And sometimes, let me go ahead and throw this out here so that you'll know what we're doing. Sometimes it'll be just the two of us dealing with the singles. Sometimes it may be Portia and Jashawn and a guest of theirs dealing with the married issues, right? The whole point is that we're all trying to make black love cool again, okay? So here we are tonight. We're going to be talking about part 2 of Choosey Lover. Okay, the power of choosing well. My cousin, on our first episode, said a statement that caused us to actually create this particular episode. He said that who you choose as a mate, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, is a reflection of your intelligence.
facts.
Okay. And so we started talking about that. We started, kind of breaking that down a little bit the last time. Tonight we're going to get into some of the answers, because one of the things that we said when we were talking last time is that the problem is us that are single. Mm-hmm. We are afraid of choosing wrong.
Yes, Lord.
Okay. Now, I'll be the first to admit that in this particular arena, in my 20s and in my 30s, my emotional IQ probably wasn't where it needed to be. In my early to mid 30s is where I finally got to that place where it clicked. I was like, okay, I need to grow up in this area, right? And I became self-aware. So all of my picking before then, man, I got some stories. So much so, I wrote a book about it.
He did write that book. He wrote a whole book.
Called Love Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just dealing with the lessons that I learned in love. I had somebody, Chanel, to ask me on yesterday. They brought up, and I've dealt with this my whole, I guess you can say, career in doing this. Because
Tell people that you're not new to this. You're true to this, okay?
Right. So listen, I've been doing this podcast before it was popular to do. Mm-hmm. Back when you had to pay like $3,000 to stream. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Events. Tell them about the
my
events.
My events. Behind closed doors is what most people would know me for. Okay? Which was a forum talking about relationships. It was myself and several other writers and authors that were on a panel with me. And we used to do this. And the question would always come up, what makes you an expert? Mm-hmm. And my answer to that is, I'm not an expert. I have experience. And my experiences is what I teach people not to do.
Right.
The things that I did wrong. We're going to share some war stories in a minute, but I'll let Chanel kind of as my friend, because me and Chanel have been friends since 2012 maybe?
Yeah, probably Well, actually,
maybe
a year or two before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We took class together in 2009, I think, 9 or 10, because I was working in spring then.
and I was in spring too.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So I knew you, but we weren't necessarily friends yet. I think it was about 2012 when we finally started hanging out and being friends.
Yeah, because I had just graduated, moved back here. Yeah, yeah.
So in that time, as we've been friends, Chanel has been the person that I bounce off of. You know, when I'm dating somebody and I want to know an opinion of, am I doing something wrong? How should I handle this? I know Chanel is the first person I call. Yeah. Chanel, met this little young tender.
Because y'all, he love the young tenders.
Come on now, don't put me out like that. I already have, and I was talking to a young lady that I've been conversing with about this. I've already have the stigma of people thinking that I'm a playboy.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm single and I'm not bad looking.
Because they assume that, well, my dad says that if he is over a certain age and he has never been married or had any kids, and I'm going to throw in there, been engaged, what's wrong with him? That's what he says. Not all the time, but most of the time. Because men are the ones who propose. So the assumption is that if you haven't proposed to anybody to get married, and you'll share your story about that, I'm sure this evening. But the assumption is if you haven't proposed to anybody, like, you choose, so you just don't want to be married. So you want to be outside, you want to be in the streets.
Frolicking.
Yeah, frolicking. Do you, player?
Wee! No, I'm not a frolicker. Okay? So here is the thing. For those that don't know, let me give you my relationship history. Okay? I've been engaged twice. Okay? First one in my 20s. Now, something we're going to talk about in a little bit is mental health, okay, in our choosing process and understanding and recognizing that and not playing with that, right? But I was engaged to someone who was schizophrenic.
Pause. Inserts long blink eye of a pause because, you know, there are different diagnoses. Hope I'm saying that correct, right? Diagnoses to mental illness and dealing with mental health and schizophrenia. Based on my understanding, which is very limited, it may be on a whole different end of the spectrum. And correct me if I'm wrong.
That I don't know.
Okay.
I just know the diagnosis was schizophrenia, paranoia.
That sounds pretty severe to me is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. So that were red flags that I ignored. Now, remember, we're talking about Choosey lover. And I'm going to let Chanel in a minute tell me why she thinks I'm single.
We doing this?
I'm gonna let her do that.
Because that means if I get to tell you, you get to tell me.
Correct.
All right.
So we're gonna share a couple of war stories.
I didn't have any wine today. It's fine.
I'm sorry, I didn't put it on the spot. All right. So check it out. I saw all of this stuff. And remember, I told y'all 2 episodes ago, I was caught up by the pretty brown round. That's what always got me in trouble.
Pretty brown round.
Okay. That's what got me in trouble every time. My ex-fiance, bow-legged, little bitty waist. You figure out the rest, okay? She was 6 years older than me. And the trauma of what she had come out of had filtered over into our relationship, okay? Now, my most recent fiance, please understand, she was a sweetheart. I have nothing negative to say about her. That was just a situation I can't blame her for. She was scared I was about to make her a widow. For those of you that don't know, I am waiting on a kidney and a pancreas transplant. So I'm in a very dire place in critical illness, okay? Though I may not look like it. But that first fiance, woo! That was a picture of my intelligence at the time. Let me tell you how I was choosing. I was choosing based off of what church folk wanted for me. I've been pastoring since I was 22 years old, okay? At the time when I met her, I was 25. And she was a minister. Mm-hmm. And so on paper, for church folk, notice what I just said, it looked great.
Matchmaker, make me a match.
Right.
Y'all go together.
Right. Okay. Now, mind you, I was attracted to her. Don't get me wrong. That was my thing. But the thing on paper that made me say, oh, this is it, is that it matched everything the church folk wanted for me. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I was getting married for the wrong reason. She had lost her job. I was taking care of her, and in my mind, if I'm buying a cow, I might as well get some milk. Let me go on and marry her. I love her enough to.
So it just made sense. It was convenient.
Correct.
We already, we might as well get married. We in this already.
Right. Now this is what I ignored. She was a Marine, okay? A Desert Storm Marine. And she came back from Desert Storm with post-traumatic syndrome from stuff that had happened to her there, okay? Now, fellas, I'm going to tell you this. Pay attention to history. It matters. Pay attention to how relationships have ended for the person that you're with. It matters, okay? I didn't look at any of that.
But how do you really know how a relationship has ended when you're dating someone? Because there are two sides to the story, and then there's the truth.
Sure. And oftentimes, my grandfather taught me this: if you let people talk, they'll tell on themselves.
Very true.
Okay.
Facts.
And so I was listening to different things that she would say, because that would be things that I would do, not on purpose, that would trigger her. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then that conversation would come up. Well, anyway, back to the whole mental health thing. Here I am. I've met the family. She's 6 years older than me. Most of her cousins and her sister are my age. Just like every black family, they meet every Sunday, hanging out. And she invited me over to come with her to family gathering. I get there. All the cousins remember me from the first time. They come to hug me. Okay. Hey, how you doing, Sean? Good to see you. Blah, 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 blah. The last one hugs me. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea she had beef with her.
You say, I got beef with her?
Okay. So she hugs me, and after she gets through hugging me, she comes up behind me, pulls my shirt, and gets in my ear and says, let me see you let her put her titties on your chest one more time here.
Q's Boosie set it off.
And I'm like, what? Are you serious? She was like, I was like, you playing, right? She was like, try me if you think I ain't. I was like, okay.
You've been warned.
So that should have been my first sign that there was something that was there, but I ignored it. Okay?
Ignored the red flag.
I ignored the red flag. We didn't stop and have a conversation about it. I ignored all of that. Okay? Long story short, we're engaged. We're 3 months away from the wedding. Okay? I had moved stuff in. You know, we kind of sort of starting to get settled together. And I get home from work. She's at home, has been there all day. I won't get into why she was at home. Okay? It was a long story with that. We're watching Comic View. Remember Comic View?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's a throwback for real.
Yeah. So I'll show you how long ago that was. We're watching Comic View, and the Comic View dancers start dancing on the stage. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, I just told you, what do I like?
Pretty brown rounds.
There you go. Okay. So she was self-conscious that she had gained weight. Okay? Mm-hmm. When I met her, she was about a size 7. At this point, she's about a size 12. But it's still proportion, right?
That's a big fluctuation.
It was a fluctuation, but it fluctuated to all the right places. Okay? So I wasn't tripping.
Yeah.
She was.
And then it was right before her wedding, too, so, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So here I am. We're watching Comic View. She comes in the living room, and when I had moved her to the apartment that she was in, she lost her service pistol, which was a 9mm Glock, okay? She found it and comes back out. Look what I found, waving it around. I'm like, girl, put that thing up before you accidentally go off or something. Mm-hmm. Now, keep that in your mental Rolodex.
Okay.
Okay? She puts the gun up. We sit down. We're watching Comic View. Next thing I know, she looks at me when the Comic View dancers are dancing and says, oh, that's what you want?
Now, how were you looking at the Comic View dancers? Like, were you like,
I'm just
regular looking,
I'm
or were you like
looking.
Leaned up, engaged?
I am sitting on the couch minding my own self business, chilling after a long Friday's worth of work. Okay? And
but it's on TV though, so it's just like, what's the big deal?
That's exactly what I said. Who am I?
You don't know them girls?
I don't know them. I see you looking at blah, 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 blah. I ain't going to say what she said because it was really vulgar.
Ooh.
Okay?
She had a potty mouth?
Yes.
The pastor? She was a pastor too?
Yeah, she was a preacher too. Okay? I mean, we cuss. I cuss sometimes when I talk to.
You only cuss like when you get really mad or...
True.
Yeah.
You know me. You've known me for years and you know this. Okay? Those of you that are church folk that heard that, don't just pray for me here. Nonetheless, I go to sleep, don't think anything of it. I feel her nuzzle up next to me and do what she normally does, is put her leg over me. Okay, cool. We're asleep. Wake up that Saturday morning. I feel her get up. She gets up, goes to the kitchen. I'm thinking she's going to go cook. I'm not even thinking anything of it. I feel her come back, and she like kind of straddling me from the end of the bed. And, I'm thinking, okay, is she trying to be frisky? What's going on?
So you see what he went straight to the okay, we about to get a little coffee in the morning.
Yeah, Next thing I know, I feel something cold and hard on my testicles.
I imagine there are a lot of things men want to feel in the morning on their testicles, and cold and hardness is not one of them.
It's definitely not one. Okay? So I'm sitting there, and I say, I know that's not what I think it is. And I open my eyes, and she has this sadistic look on her face, and the gun is off safety. I could just tell that by how she had it, and she's breathing hard. And she says to me, if you ever cheat on me, I'll shoot it off.
She meant that.
She meant it. Okay? At that moment, I prayed, Lord, if you get me out of this, you ain't got to worry about me no more. And that's probably why I'm single, because he answered that prayer. Okay? We ended up breaking up, and she stalked me for probably about 5 years after that.
5 years?
Yes, until she got married again. And
define stalk.
She would pop up in places that she knew I was preaching.
Okay.
Okay. I remember one time preaching at a place, and the armor bearers there knew who she was. Okay. You know how back in the day, the Baptist church, you sit up there with the pastor, and the people come by, shake your hand after church. That's how it used to be. Okay. And that's what I was doing. Next thing I know, I feel somebody, grab my hand, and I look down. It was her. She was really short.
Okay.
Okay. It was her. I'm like, and the armor bearers grabbed her and ushered her, kind of.
So that's the purpose of the armor bearers, like to kind of.
It's security.
Keep the.
Yeah. If you use them right, that's
Okay.
That's a whole nother show. But
I see where you're going.
Anyway,
we'll have to revisit that
right.
one.
That's a show. That's a show with me and you. We talk about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that kind of stuff kept happening. Calling my grandmother, calling my mother, looking for me. Blowing up their phones, and so it was wild. Okay. And she finally fell off because she met a guy and married him. That lasted 3 months. Now, how I know this is my best friend and her shared not my best friend now, but my best friend then and her shared the same godmother. That's how we met.
Okay.
Okay. And he was like, dude, you dodged a bullet. She just married this dude, and the dude left her in the house and told her she could have everything just as long as he got away from her.
Damn.
Right.
It had to be. Ooh, you can have everything. You got it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Don't even worry about it. He got the marriage annulled.
Okay.
Okay. And I think she's been married since then 3 times.
Meanwhile, at the ranch.
Right. Right.
3 times. God.
Right.
She doing something. She know how to get them.
I mean, she fine. I give her that. But, you know how I like them. But nonetheless.
See where that's gotten you.
Right. Okay. So that being said, what do you think my problem is?
Okay. High level, I think your problem is nothing wrong with you liking what you like, because I don't see that being problematic. I think people should marry what they like. I think that you have to dig a little bit deeper than the surface as far as like paying attention to the lifestyle and trappings that they have, that they're accustomed to and that they want. Let me explain.
Okay.
So I never forget I was having a conversation with my cousin, and he was fussing about some girl he was dating, and he's country. He likes trail rides and all that. And she was not country. She was city. She likes galas and all type of different fundraisers, events like that. And he was fussing like, well, she didn't want to sleep in an RV with me, and then she wanted me to go to the gala. And I was like, well, to me it sounds like y'all are not compatible.
Okay.
See, on the surface, he's looking at, she's pretty, she has this on paper. But when we talk about lifestyle compatibility, when you, I believe like a man as a leader should be able to bring a woman into his vision. And I think you probably do a good job at that. But she has to figure out if that's the vision that she wants to, because a lot of times I can't put it all on you like you're single because you you only look at the surface level because that is part of it, and the other part is the lifestyle compatibility.
Okay.
You like nice things, but you're not like, how do I work? You're not like, let me show off, let me try to, you don't love bomb people. And a lot of women confuse love bombing with like actual courting and dating. They've probably never even been really courted before because they've gotten love bombed before. I've experienced that before as well, and I had to learn. So the women that you're dating, while on the surface they meet all the criteria, a little bit underneath the surface they're so used to being love bombed and or mistreated by men or objectified that they don't even know how to identify when a man is actually courting them. And I say that's your issue because in you learning them before you even get to the point of the relationship, you have to watch how they interact with men, what their experience, what their love map in male relationships has been. And I know sometimes it's been like, well, she's had a father in her life, but like still, how does she interact with men? Because then you'll get in a relationship and I tell you, and you probably gonna laugh, I'll be like, she don't even like men. She don't like men. Because if you like men, why are you acting like that? And so that's a part of digging deeper from like, oh, she has a job, check. Well, she looks good, check. She has a job, check. Okay, she goes to church a little bit, check, but she's mean and she doesn't like men. Or she's looking for a trick. So
I'm gonna say this, maybe because this is me being self-aware about myself. One of the things I know sometimes that I will do is overplay my position.
Okay.
Okay. And I think maybe what I can do in the choosing or selecting process is not give too much too fast. That's what I've learned.
So when is like the appropriate? When do you believe is the appropriate time to begin giving that?
Once you kind of see,
yeah,
what that person's, like you were saying, what that person's lifestyle expectation, if we match, going off more than just attraction, now seeing if that person is compatible, taking my own advice from my book. Are they compatible? Are they suitable? Are they right for the occasion? I was always, and I guess this is the disadvantage for me, being raised by a mother who taught me how to treat women, is that I think I was doing in dating what she always wanted a man to do for her.
Oh, I don't know which one I want to say. I want to touch on the overplaying your role, because I had someone tell me before, like, know your role, never overplay your role, know your position and play it. And I've been guilty in that before as well, so I get you on that one. And on the flip side, depending on who you're dealing with, the perception can be, hey, show me what I said the other day, show me what you got. Make your next move your best move. Some women want to see it because they know what they're coming with, but if you are with someone, like you said, you didn't learn them well enough to know that they're withholding to see what you have, what are we going to do when we're both withholding? We're not going to get to the finish line. We're not going to solve the problem if everybody is holding back. And the second thing, you said your mom raised you to be the man that she wanted. That is the problem that is the issue I am finding, a trend across the board, not in necessarily a bad way all the way around because you know how to treat women, but then sometimes, and I don't know, your mom and what it was like, but the mothers then begin to romanticize kind of like an Oedipus complex situation with their sons. Because this is now he has become the man that you would have fallen in love with. And now he can't even go out here and date other women because you are subconsciously in love with the way that your son treats you, but that's your son. I feel like that's another episode.
It is. I mean, and let me clarify. My mom was not that.
Yeah.
Although I've been accused of that, my mom was very hands off when it came to my relationships. So much so that I didn't find out she didn't like my ex-fiance until the night of her wake.
Okay.
Where I'm literally standing in front of her casket with the girl that I was dating at the time, and my type, chocolate and shapely and pretty, right? So she comes up, her friend, grabs my hand, looks at my ring finger, and looks at her, and I had to basically say, that's not her. Okay, that's not her. And she was like, oh, because I was about to say, me and your mama shouted all around that office. when she found out y'all broke up, they broke up. I was like, wow, mama, really? You know, my mama had bought my ex-fiance's wedding dress. That's how invested in me being happy she was.
She was supportive of your
decision. She was
decision.
supportive, correct. Okay, so you know, all of that to say, and we're going to get into this in a little bit after we talk about this whole mental health thing.
Okay.
I'll finish talking about it. You brought up something that really we were going to talk about tonight had it been all four of us, and I think we need to hit on it tonight a little bit later after I kind of give you yours.
Okay.
Okay. It's capacity, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
That's important.
That's important. So watch this. Now, I shared one of my worst war stories with you. You don't have to share anything in detail because I know your dudes are looking. My exes. My ex-fiance Shanna might, because we're Facebook friends now. She might see this. She's not gonna let me know she saw it, but she might see it.
Okay.
But my first fiance, I blocked her on everything, so she can't see.
So
nothing.
you like talking about most traumatic relationship, or like what do you
just
war wound like?
Just a war story that you want to share that you feel is kind of comical. It doesn't have to be long.
Okay, I could tell a comical one.
Okay.
So there was this guy that this is such a long time ago. Like I met him in high school. We dated off and on, and we had run back into one another. We reconnected some way, and he had all the trappings, right? And I liked him since high school, so he came back in. He was coming correct, and he was like, it seemed like he was at my level as far as success. He presented well. And we went on a date, and the date ended up lasting a couple of days. He was like, don't worry about it. I'll take you shopping. You get all the stuff you need. And I'm like, now you're talking my language, sir. So we were hanging. I'm like in my early 20s in grad school, so it's fine. So we're having a good time, and I go visit him. He comes out to my house, visit me, whatever. So we're dating, and he had these products. He said, hey, I'm doing a toy drive. And I have all these items that don't fit. Everything's not going to fit in my place. Can I just put them in your garage until I come back and get them? Because I have to go out of town. I'm like, okay, bet. So he stacks, like, my garage just looks like a storage. He has all of these gifts for this toy drive sitting in my garage. And so a few weeks go by, and this is hitting before Christmas time. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, blue week, right? And my friends, I had a few single parents that were single moms that were friends. And so they're looking in my garage like, such and such left these in your garage. Like, can I have them? I was like, no, you can't have them. Those are his. Like, no, you can't have them. Another week goes by. We're hitting like 2 weeks, a week or two before Christmas. And they're like, Chanel, what is going on with these? So I text him. I said, hey, are you going to come back and get these? He was like, no. I said, well, I don't have anything to do with them, but my friends are asking, like, Christmas is coming up. They look like boy gifts. Can they have them? He was like, yeah, sure. I thought it was weird because it was probably thousands of dollars worth of gifts in my garage. So, and I'm green. I'm from the suburbs. I'm green. I'm not. Fast forward, I'm like, he disappeared. And I mean, like I said, he had the car, the place, all the things, all the stuff. He disappeared. And one night, Holy Spirit, I couldn't sleep. And I've always been a very good researcher. Like, I can find out anything about anybody. And I was just up one night, couldn't sleep. Get online, get to looking, and then I see his picture for Most Wanted, the Handsome Bandit.
This the dude that used to stay over by where I live now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's a very handsome man. Like very, no matter what race, he's very handsome. And so he was allegedly he was involved in some organized activities, extracurriculars. Mm-hmm. And he had been going across the country doing it. So now they had the places he was doing this, they had a sign up that said, warning, Most Wanted, the Handsome Bandit. And so he had gotten caught and it went, got arrested. They were going to do like a whole documentary on him. Like it was a big deal. But I remember telling my sisters and telling you this man was most wanted for this organized crime situation that he was allegedly doing. That's my crazy story because I was like, what are the chances? This is crazy as hell.
Yeah. Listen. Okay. So that being said, to give y'all a little backstory, I have been a relationship coach before relationship coaching was a thing and cool. Now, we have this whole debacle going on now with what's her name? The lady that everybody's questioning her credentials. I won't say her name.
Yeah.
Okay. understand, and I can vouch for this because being in this arena that I've been in, like you heard Chanel say, since like 2010, right?
Yeah.
You don't need a license to be a coach, okay? You do need a license to practice as a counselor. Those are two
Yes.
different things. I'm not a counselor. I refer people to counselors if they need that,
Yes.
okay? But I do coach. My lane has been coaching women to understand how men think. And so for years, I've done this with Chanel.
Okay, so now tell me that's a good segue. Tell me why, I don't have my emerald cut
So
ring on my finger.
the reason why, two things. Number one, you give the benefit of the doubt when there is no benefit in doubting. And number two, and I kind of feel bad for this because in one of your situations, I kind of coached you into doing this. You stay longer than you should.
Yeah. You hit it nail on the head. Give the benefit of the doubt. Because I'm like, I'll see the rest. I'm like, let me see. Let me collect a little bit more data. Let me see. Maybe he might not be all the way. Perhaps. And then I have ignored my instinct. I have ignored my gut and giving someone the benefit of doubt. And every time it's just like, no, that was exactly what it said. It was a snake and that's what it was. No, exaggerate. And then too much time. And I think I know who you're referring to. And it's just like there's such a delicate balance because I see the benefit in taking time to get to know someone. And we were talking about this earlier. I heard someone say, I wanted to see they're crazy. So then you can determine if you want to deal with it. Like, Let me see. I am very much pro. Let me see what I'm working with so I can say, you know what? Bless your heart. That is great for you. Perhaps not for me. I'm going to exit stage left, but God bless you on your future endeavors. I wish you the best. Or I could say, you know what? I think I could deal with that because I know what I'm graced for. And I have a friend group. We talk about like, I'm graced for this. I'm not graced for that. I know exactly what I'm graced for. I know what I can handle, what I won't handle. So in staying too long, there have been situations where it's just like I gave the benefit of doubt and I'm thinking I'm getting to continue to know someone and they really just wasted my time at the end of the day. And I go back and forth because, they have all these dating gurus out here. Some people say like men know immediately. And I do believe men know rather quickly. And you're a man, so you can say, but that doesn't mean they're going to necessarily act at that moment.
I'm glad you said that. So watch this. I had this happen to me yesterday. Someone told me they watched our show and they only thing they didn't agree with, and I wrote about this in my book too, is that Christian folks ought not be dating for long. And we were talking as if, we're going from person to person. I was like, no, that's not what we're saying. We are talking about dating being investigation. I think one of the biggest mistakes we make, oftentimes, especially in church, is that we find ourselves dating people. That church folk want us to date. That's number one. Number two, this person was like, I believe that God showed you that's your husband, that's your wife. You discern that, and y'all get married.
Oh, if only it were that easy.
Right. So here's the problem. Here's what I think is the problem. When it comes to Choosey Lover, right? I think what we try to do is make this a one-size-fits-all, and it's not. Okay? For you, that might have worked. For you, you might have saw your person, and that's my husband, and he did the same thing. That's my wife, and y'all got it together. Some people, that don't work that way. They're not trying to be out there just dating willy-nilly. First and foremost, ain't that much to choose from. Can I be honest and say that?
Okay, hold on. Because I want you to talk about that from a male perspective because I was having a conversation one time and a friend was like, just coming out, someone was like, these dudes ain't shit. And I was like, no, the dudes you date ain't shit.
True.
I date some pretty awesome men. I don't know what you're talking about. And then as the pendulum swings, sometimes you'll be like, damn, dating pool looking a little bleak right now. But then it's like who you're choosing to date. So when you say... the dating pool is shallow, has little feces.
It's got boo-boo and pee-pee in it.
And trash and debris rolling. Is that
Dookie
based off of who you're selecting, or is it just like, is it based off of who you're selecting?
So it's based off of, I tell you this, based off of where I was fishing at one point in time.
Where you fish.
Okay. I told you that funny story on a particular dating app. I got off of all of them. Just
Oh,
FYI.
yeah, I know the story.
I got off of all. I'm not on not one dating app. I got off of all of them because it's nothing but
People find love on the dating apps.
not me. Not me. So I'm on the dating app. It's a chick that I'd known on Facebook for a while. From like mid 2000s we were connected. We got disconnected, I'm guessing, because she got married. Mm-hmm. And I happened to bump into her on this particular app. We hit it off. We started talking. First day, that morning we connected, talked. I get home. I hit up on the messenger on the app. Hey, how was your day? Good. Okay. What you up to? Or how you feeling? Her answer to me was hungry. So in my mind, I'm thinking that means you about to cook something for yourself. So I type in what you cooking.
No, Sean. She wanted you to send her some food and feed her. Hungry, hungry woman.
So she hit me with, when are you taking me out?
And she shouldn't. She felt like she shouldn't even have to ask you because she felt like you should have volunteered to take her out.
That's crazy. I don't know you.
Well, you get to know her. That's what she was saying.
That's my point. That's what I'm trying to do.
But that whole hungry,
Yeah.
Come on now. Where's your? She wasn't even giving out the energy for a man to even want to be like, hey, I really want to see you and take you out to feed her with her hungry self. Mm-hmm. Now, I know who you're talking about. Sheila Throde. We have multiple data checks for that one. You're hungry. Girl, bye. What is that about?
So my thing is, and I get why she did that, to be honest.
Okay, tell me why you think she did
because a lot of men out here waste y'all's time.
They do. They try to, but we got to nip that in the bud.
Right. So here's the thing. That comes right back to what we were talking about, that fear of choosing the wrong one. That comes from your trauma. Mm-hmm. That comes from the things that you've already gone through. And so you can't treat every man like that dude, and I can't treat every woman like the woman that had a gun to my nuts. Okay? so it is what it is. Listen, y'all real quiet over there. If you want to call in, the number is here. It is 832, is that 975-1237. If you want to call in and join in the conversation, we'd love to hear what you have to say so far on what we're talking about.
Because the comments are
comments are a little dry today.
Yes. Well, no, actually kind of, she was right. I see the devil is a lie. Yes, he was. Entitlement. Cut her some slack. Yes, it was definitely entitlement. But to your point, she was probably irritated from men wasting her time. To me, her saying hungry, I would assume that that's a woman that's not even, she's not even interested, because that's trying to scare someone off. It's like you're trying to say the most off-putting thing possible so that they will leave you alone. And if best case scenario, you get a free meal out of it. Worst case scenario, you actually have to engage. If you're not interested, just say that. If you are interested, then act like a lady. Who raised some of y'all?
Yeah, I left her alone after that. I ain't even say nothing else to her. When she came with that, you can't take me to blah, 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 blah. No, I can't. I'm good. I'm not even going to delete
because her asking, to me, that's like you act like you're not used to anything because you're asking. Because if you're used to it, is what's understood doesn't have to be explained, baby girl. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Now, dealing with that. Okay. Mental health.
Okay. Let's circle back to that.
Let's circle back. What do you have to say about that? It's important. I know that.
Most of the women I know have been to some form of therapy. And what I'm finding is that while there are a lot of men who are parading therapy around as some type of token, like I've gone to therapy, have you done the work though? Because women will meet a man and the man says, I've gone to therapy. And like, yes, he's been to therapy. And then as they continue dating, because that's like a point of entry, right? It gets them a little bit further. Like, oh, you get 10 extra points because you've gone to therapy. Then once you start dating him, you realize he ain't applying shit that therapist told him to do. He just up in there wasting that lady time with his little copay, and she getting her billable hours or whatever, and he not listening to shit she said. And I got to the point where I started asking, man, did you talk to the lady? You need to go talk to the lady. And I got that from, LaToya Lucky, because she was on something before, and she said men, when they want to get you back, the first thing they say is like, I'll go talk to the lady, man. I'll go talk to the lady. And she did not tell a lie, because there was one ex that was trying to get back, and he was like, you know what I'm talking about? He was like, how do you feel about couples therapy? And my therapist had told me that he had mental health issues. And so I had been telling him, you need to go talk to a therapist. He's like, I'm not going to a therapist. I don't need to. And he was older and whatever. I'm not going to a therapist. But then when he was trying to get me back, all of a sudden he wants to do couples therapy. I said, why would I go to couples therapy to you? Number one, I'm not trying to be a couple with you. I done told you. Number two, you need to go to therapy by yourself. You have so much trauma, but then people get defensive. And so there becomes there comes a time where saying you've gone to therapy is not enough. How have you applied what you've learned in therapy? And if you do have mental health issues or just different things that you struggle with, you need to know your triggers and you need to know how to de-escalate and you need to know how to self-soothe. And that's what taking the time and dating someone allows you to see.
Say that again, de-escalate?
And self-soothe.
Okay.
Because you can't make somebody else your all your, especially if you're dealing with mental health. Like, I don't think it's healthy to make someone the responsible for your happiness and joy. Like, joy is like something that you have within, regardless of situation, because life has its ebbs and flows. It has its mountain peaks and its valley lows, right? So you can't fully depend on someone else for that, no more than you can depend on someone to regulate you when you're having a mental health issue, because it becomes dangerous because they are not trained professionally. They have not. And when you're trained professionally, you have hours and hours of research for patterns and trends and all the things. And I say this from a scholarly perspective because
Sure.
I am a scholar in
Sure.
education. I just know to become an expert, you have to have a certain amount of hours experience in your research and the studies and all the things.
Practitioner.
Practitioner. As someone dating a person having a mental health issue, yes, you can support them as their significant other and their partner in life, but there are some things that you are just not equipped to do because you got your own shit.
Touche, my G.
And that goes to capacity.
So first of all, mine is a man. I'll go see that dude.
Okay. Go talk to somebody.
But yeah, I mean, I totally agree. You know, this is something in our community we have to really deal with. And this is actually the root of where our show came from, is understanding that a lot of people that are out here dating really need a therapist, you know, not necessarily a partner yet. And just kind of getting some things done, unpacking.
Well, do you think you have to be completely unpacked and healed before you get in partnership with someone?
No, I think you need to be to a point to where you've unpacked to where you can now be self-aware. To know this is my stuff, this is what I'm dealing with, and this is how I handle it.
And communicate that. Communication is such a huge thing. Like, you can go through what you go through, and when you do not communicate it, it creates space and opportunity for people to create narratives.
Correct.
In their head that might not even be true.
Absolutely.
Especially when you have all the dating experts say, do this and do that. If he's not calling you, this is what's going on. If you haven't heard from him in a day, he don't like you. That man could be having a full-blown mental breakdown, and you have no idea. But because you got online and listened to somebody that puts a doctor in front of their name, don't even have a doctorate, never even wrote a dissertation, now you thinking that it's like, oh, the end of the world, this is over, and that might not be the case, or vice versa. Like with women battling with mental health, I see someone in the comments talking about high-functioning people. A lot of women, specifically Black women, we may be high-functioning, thinking we know how to we've excelled in so many other areas of our life.
Absolutely.
We got this. We don't need to. Like, I don't have any real mind issue. I don't have anxiety. I know so many women with anxiety. I've had anxiety before, right? And we think that we've got it, and sometimes hurt people hurt others. And so you may be dealing with or triggered from something, and that is going to, like you say, bleed over to your relationship and the person that you're dating. And you really just need to go talk to the man or the lady.
Two things I'm going to say, and with that, we're going to talk about capacity in a second with the few little minutes we got. Okay. Number one, it was something that Portia said the last time we were here. When you're over 40, that whole perimenopause thing, and understanding that's something that y'all have to look at. On our end, midlife crisis is a real thing.
When do y'all have a midlife crisis? I need to know.
Okay, so if I'm honest, if I can look back in my life, mine started at about age 46. Okay. Between 37 and 46, I felt like I was at the top of the food chain.
And y'all really not. And let me tell you why. Because I find men in that window, you would tell me this. I remember being on the phone, and at first I was like, he may be on something, but as I encounter more men in these age brackets, the 40, what's the end of the bracket?
I'll say from 37 to 46.
The 46-year-old is still dating like he's 26.
Correct.
Because he thinks he still has it like he had it when he was 26. He does not.
At all.
At all. So, sir, it's not. You're not in the sweet spot anymore.
Mm-hmm.
When just like this is an individual basis, because I don't like it either way, where they say like women over this, over 35, or men over this age, you expire. But I'll say that you dating with the same level of expectation, if you haven't increased what you're bringing to the table, I'm going to say that if you haven't increased what you're bringing to the table, you cannot have that same level of expectation. Now, if you have, and if you've gotten better with age like fine wine, then go ahead, do your big one. But if not,
I mean, the looks sometimes can match that, but as far as like everything else, them check engine lights are real.
When did the check engine lights
At 40?
come? Oh,
that's when they start happening, and you start looking at the original equipment is not functioning like it used to function. Okay, and you start dealing with all that kind of stuff, and when I turned 40 is when I grew my beard out.
Okay.
And let the gray come out, because I used to keep just for men in business.
Yeah, I done seen a couple of bottles of I'm like, yeah, women like the gray hair. We be like, all right, Zaddy, all right, because we going to the Zaddy with the beard and the
right. So I would say from about 40 to about 45, that worked.
Yeah.
Okay. I was that dude then with the little gray patch in his beard.
Yeah.
Okay. By the time 46 hit,
what happened at 46?
I started, it started being harder to work out and get muscles.
Wow,
because
really?
testosterone becomes a real thing at that age.
You can go get you some testosterone. I'm sure there's testosterone
for
peptides.
For sure. But I didn't know that. And a lot of men don't know that.
Okay.
And so you start developing this dad bod. And where did this come from? I'm a former athlete. I don't get this. Where all this? I had
you got
arms.
a dad bod and ain't even a daddy yet.
I ain't even a daddy. I'm a god daddy.
I'm sorry, that was funny.
I'm not even a daddy, but I got a dad bod.
But then y'all want the woman to be snatched, nipped, tucked, sucked, all the stuff?
That's not me.
Okay.
That's not me. You don't have to be perfect.
Okay.
It's perfect for me.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. So when you start putting all that together, those are things that I really had to go unpack with that dude.
Okay, that dude.
Okay. I had to have a real conversation with my therapist about, hey, man, I just feel like I ain't got it no more, bro. And that affected me choosing, because for a little bit, I stopped dating because of that.
Really? Okay.
Because I felt like I needed to get me together. I would say from probably about age 48 till now.
You did kind of like back. Now that I think, yeah, you did.
Because I went through that mentally.
Okay.
That's when it was like full-fledged, midlife crisis. Even the car that I am now driving, which I bought the car for me.
The car definitely looks like a midlife crisis car. It definitely looks like a midlife, and that's going to give you a certain level of attention. And all attention is not good attention.
So I'm not looking for it. I don't even be looking when I'm driving. I'm just enjoying my car.
Yeah, you're not looking, but they looking. It's a song that's trending right there. Right now, where all my spin it. I'm just saying, they looking, and the expectations are a little. We do live in Houston, so I just want you to be aware. I mean, that's your dating pool, it ain't mine. So
yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to attract that, but I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now,
yeah, as we're
getting ready to close it up in a few minutes, capacity. Mm-hmm. Here is the solution. I feel like the solution is this. We both have to have the same capacity when we're choosing. What do you mean, Sean? I mean, I understand within myself the capacity that I have for a woman. Mm-hmm. Okay? What I bring to the table. Also, where I can strengthen and support.
Right.
Okay? But in the same breath, does that woman understand that about me?
How do you communicate what you have capacity for
question.
and what you don't have capacity for? Sometimes you don't even know until the shit happens, and you're just like, ooh, I ain't really equipped for this.
My ex-fiance, I never forget this.
Which one?
Shanna.
Okay.
Hey, Shanna, if you're watching. She asked me one Sunday after being with me at church. I had preached, and we got home. And she said, babe, I said, huh? She said, do you see yourself pastoring a mega church? I said, it doesn't really work like that. You know, I think every pastor wants to pastor a mega church, but it's when whatever God breathes on, that's how that works, right? And then she said, because she was around when this happened, she said, do you think you're going to start another church? She was around when I had to close the church that I started. And she saw how much money I had to put into that.
Yeah.
And how much money it took from me, right?
Ultimately, she thinks it's going to take from our household.
Correct. So her verbiage to me was then, if you decide to start another church, because I couldn't promise her that I can't, because that's a calling. That's not something I have a choice over. If God tells me to do it, I got to do it. She said, if you decide to start another church, I can't do it.
And that's what she had capacity or didn't have capacity
Correct.
for.
Correct. And I couldn't do anything but respect that.
Yeah. But people have, to your point, people have to be honest about what they have capacity for and what they don't. Because I don't even think people really think about it until they're in the situation. They're like, oh, I can't do this. It's capacity. Like, I don't think people reflect on what they're graced to deal with as much as they should.
Because self-awareness has to do with that, right? It was a young lady that I was attracted to. She liked me as well. We used to work together. And we were hanging out, and we were both honest with each other. Hey, I like you, but I don't think I could give you what you need. You know, she was a single mother at the time of 3. I'm dealing with sickness and going through what I'm going through. You know, I see you kind of struggling with how to do this, that, and the other. I'm not the guy to help you with that because my time is extremely limited dealing with going to treatments and all that other kind of stuff. So I know what you need, I can't offer. And she said the same thing about me.
Yeah.
You know, so
but those are honest adult conversations
absolutely.
That unfortunately sometimes they don't even occur. And if the breakup happens, it happens because the conversation didn't occur and or it happens and it's just like, dang, if we would have talked about that, we probably wouldn't even got to this point. Yeah.
So I think what we need as singles, point blank period, dealing with being a choosy lover, is we have to come to a place of self-awareness enough to understand our capacity in relationships. You know, the things that we go through, and I'll say this as well, the things that we go through oftentimes is what expands and builds that capacity because it gives us the level to be able to support somebody that's going through the same thing. That's
right.
kind of the match. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I call it. You say capacity, and I mean, like, that's what I jokingly say. Like, I know what I'm graced for. I know when I see certain things in a man that I'm dating, I'm like, I know exactly what I can handle before because I just know myself well enough. And I've been in relationships with men where I'm just like, I'm given the benefit of doubt, and then I'm just like, I mean, damn, every day is something. Is always the end of the business deal? All the time? And you're just melancholy all the time? Like, I don't think I have capacity for this. Somebody else may be able to put that cape on, but I'm not graced for this. Yeah.
So, and I think when we have those type of conversations, we just have to be honest. And that's the thing that a lot of people have not mastered.
And transparent.
Because we all have on the mask. The representative, you know. Going back to something you said earlier, and then we're gonna close it up in a second. You asked when should how did you phrase it?
Oh yeah, like when should you begin to we were talking about overplaying your role.
Yeah.
Know your role and overplaying your role. Like, when should you? Because that's been my thing. Like, I'm like, I like you. I'm like,
so
all the things.
So watch this. All of us go through this, and all of us do it. When you first meet a person, you meet their representative. They're putting their best foot forward. I would say about date 3 is when that mask comes off.
Okay.
And that's when you have to really begin to see what you have capacity for. I'll say this. It was a lady that met me years ago out at a restaurant. And I still say this to this very day, and I think it's so true. I was sitting by myself, and she said, "You're such a handsome young man. Why you by yourself with your lady?" I said, well, I'm single. She said, you don't have a wife? I said, no, ma'am. Now, this was lady was like in her 80s, right? I said, you don't have a wife? I said, no, ma'am. She said, well, what you waiting on? I said, I haven't found the right one. She looked at me and giggled, and she said, baby, let me tell you something. Just like all of y'all are stupid.
Dropping the wisdom.
All women are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to find your brand of crazy you can't live without and make her your wife.
Yep, and for women, you just got to find the level of stupid. You just be like, that's mine, I'm going to stick beside him.
So, y'all, this has been an interesting conversation tonight. I sure wish y'all would call in, man. We want to hear what you got to say, but that's okay. You didn't call in tonight. We'll get you maybe the next time. Mm-hmm. But listen, what you'll see from us from this point forward, sometimes, like I said, it'll be all four of us. Sometimes it'll be just Sean and Portia, and they may have a guest couple on. They talking marriage stuff. You know, we're gonna do also a live in person shoot. Okay, we'll tell y'all about that. Also, be ready. We're going to do at the end of the year a ball. Okay, where we can all meet up and dress up. You know, we like holiday parties.
Yes, we do. Love a good little one, too.
Be on the lookout for that. We'll give you more info on that later on, too. We want to meet all of y'all that are our supporters and that are watching. Now, remember, like I said earlier when we first started, going on over to YouTube and find Relationship Rehab and do what? Push that subscribe button, okay? Don't just go and push like. Go push subscribe so that you can become one of our followers there, and you'll begin to be able to see all of our full program, because once August hits, you'll only see segments of us on here. You won't see the whole program like you're seeing now, because we'll be going live from there.
Yes.
All right. Well, Chanel, you got anything to say before we leave?
I think what the seasoned saint said wrapped us up very well. What did you say? Men, you have to.
All men, just like all men are stupid.
Yeah.
All women are crazy. You just got to pick your brand of crazy you can't live without and make her your wife.
Yeah, and you need to see what his level of stupid is, and men need to see what her level of crazy is, and then you just be like, I'm gonna stick beside her. So that's all. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, we enjoyed it tonight. It was fun.
Yes.
Okay. Tune in next time. Share this broadcast if you liked it. Make sure you comment some more and like. I'll come in. I'll go back and see who commented and said what, and I'll comment on it. I'm sure Chanel will do the same thing. I'm sure Jashawn and Portia will do the same thing as well. But we enjoyed y'all tonight. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Bye.